Thanks for watching AM Northwest. We've all heard that probiotics are good for your health, but can they really boost your immune system or help you lose weight? Well, here to help separate fact from fiction, we welcome the author of Cracking the Metabolic Code, pharmacist and clinical nutritionist, James LaValle. Good to have you with us, James.
Great to be here.
We've heard a lot about probiotics, and they've been around for a while. Why are they so popular now?
Well, I think the biggest reason is that there's a lot of research coming out on probiotics now. We're finally figuring out that those beneficial flora have a lot to do with how our immune system functions, how we process hormones, how we absorb things. So pretty important.
So explain what it is exactly and why we need them.
Well, probiotics are basically the beneficial bacteria that live in your gut. So that's good bacteria in the gut, and there could be bad bacteria too. So you want to create a balance. A lot of people create lifestyles that think, hey, I'm going to drink kombucha or I'm going to eat yogurt. A lot of these sometimes can be high in sugar, so you got to be careful about that.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so you got to be careful about what you're doing, but they're coming in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Obviously, you can do things like eat fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut, which is kind of a traditional way to get some probiotics in. But honestly, if you're trying to get immune benefits, you got to get a little more science-based. You got to find out what probiotics are working and what's been studied, because there's a million of them on the marketplace. Yeah. Not necessarily a million of them are working.
So one size doesn't fit all then, right? One
size does not fit all, and I think it's important to understand that there's some science, and then there's some, I'd call it bro science when I'm talking to my when I'm talking to some of my constituents. So it's important to understand colds and flu, for example. You know, everybody's worried about the coronavirus. Right. Really important. Probiotics in at least 20 studies showed that it reduces the incidence of cold and flu. And in one study, and that's why I brought this particular probiotic, they studied it in humans. College students stressed out, not enough sleep. 2 days less symptoms of cold and flu and 34% reduction in symptoms. So it's important to understand you want to go for the evidence-based probiotics.
Right, sure. So do you take this when you start to feel like a cold is coming on, or is that too late by then?
You know, that's a great question. I like to tell people at the beginning of cold and flu season, go ahead and get on a probiotic. Take one each day. What's the difference? I mean, it doesn't take that much time or effort. They're pretty inexpensive. Look for one that's room temperature stable, because we all think that going into the refrigerator and getting your probiotic is better. Those are actually less stable.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right? I mean, a lot of people don't think that. They think they got to get a refrigerated one. Right. These room temperature stable probiotics, I think, are a little more important, and you want to find out the ones that are studied. For example, in this, it's called the Friendly Trio, and that's been found in multiple studies: cold and flu, allergy symptoms, even lowering LDL cholesterol and total cholesterol. So
that's helpful for your heart, obviously, right?
Yeah, really big benefits. So those are the things that really have the science is strong on. Really helps with that heart health situation. Cold and flu season, the other one, a lot of people, I'm here in Oregon, everybody's out running. Yeah. You know, I was out running with them. Yeah. And, people that run marathons and tend to do high endurance running, they get runner's diarrhea, or they get GI, symptoms, gas, bloating. When you take a probiotic before your event, start a week before your event, the chance of you getting those kind of GI symptoms in your event drastically reduced if you start on a probiotic.
So the science is behind helping with cold and flu and heart issues, cholesterol you mentioned. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, once again with the runners and of course just GI help, but really the science is kind of early on, it's going to help in weight loss, because we're seeing that out there now. It's true. People that are overweight have an imbalance in their flora. So the good flora kind of can get separated off, and they make more of this one kind of flora in people that are overweight. And so the thought is, hey, if we just replace that, they're no longer going to be overweight. That really hasn't proven out. If it was that easy, we wouldn't have the statistics we have on people being overweight in America, right?
So how much probiotics do you take? Or it depends on the issue you have, or?
Really good. You've got all these great questions. For example, this is a higher dose probiotic. Okay. And I would suggest that when people are getting put on an antibiotic, or maybe they're on a drug like a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug for inflammation, or if they're on proton pump inhibitors or acid blocking medications, those are the kind of drugs that actually reduce your beneficial flora. And that can be a problem. So it's called drug-induced microbiome disruption, right? So you lower the flora. So take a higher dose one. Otherwise, just take one that's between 1 and 10 billion colony-forming units. That's what it's known as, colony-forming units. And that can be something that you can do once a day for general prevention. The cold and flu studies were basically on that actually lower level. Interesting. You guys got some great information here. We want to tell folks the book is called Cracking the Metabolic Code. James LaValle, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great to be here.